When it comes to aging well, we tend to think of crossword puzzles, brisk walks, and maybe the occasional fish oil capsule. But increasingly, science is pointing to your dinner plate as one of the most powerful players in the brain health game. And not just any plate, a salad-strewn, nut-sprinkled, berry-bursting plate inspired by plant-based dietary patterns that seem to love your neurons as much as you love Netflix. For those of us hoping to age like fine wine rather than forgotten leftovers, this line of research has become not only exciting but also surprisingly delicious. Over the past decade, multiple long-term, population-based studies have converged on one deliciously optimistic conclusion: plant-forward diets may protect the brain from the slow slide into dementia. And we're not talking about extreme veganism or kale-only crusades. These are balanced dietary patterns like the MIND diet, a hybrid of the Mediterranean and DASH diets, the Healthful Plant-Based Diet Index, HBDI, and the Planetary Health Diet Index, PHDI. Each one encourages more plants, yes, but without turning you into a rabbit or asking you to renounce chocolate. It's more like asking, would you mind eating more berries, nuts, olive oil, and whole grains while maybe backing off on the double bacon cheeseburgers? Not exactly a hardship. So what do these diets have in common that might be so good for the brain? Well, they all tend to be high in polyphenol, fiber, omega-3s, and other anti-inflammatory compounds that seem to soothe the brain rather than stoke the flames of chronic inflammation, a known contributor to Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. A growing body of research suggests that eating this way may actually slow cognitive decline, delay the onset of dementia, and perhaps even improve performance on memory tests. Yes, your shopping cart might just become your new cognitive health clinic. Take the MIND diet, for example. Developed specifically to target brain health, it's been associated with as much as a 53% lower risk of Alzheimer's in people who adhered to it closely over time. That's right, 53%. That's not just statistically significant. That's the kind of number that makes people start meal prepping leafy greens with the enthusiasm of a gym influencer organizing their dumbbells. Even moderate adherence showed a 35% risk reduction. So no, you don't have to be perfect, just plant persistent. Then there's the HBDI, a scoring system that ranks your diet on how many healthy plant foods, think whole grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes, and nuts, versus less healthy ones, refined grains, sugary drinks you eat. In large cohort studies, higher HBDI scores have been linked with lower inflammation, lower insulin resistance, and better cognitive aging. In other words, if your idea of plant-based eating is tofu tacos instead of deep-fried Twinkies, you're on the right track. It's about quality, not just kale quantity. Let's not forget the planetary health diet, either, a plan designed to be good for both people and the planet, which is especially relevant if you'd like a healthy brain and a livable planet on which to use it. Though it's newer and less studied in dementia prevention, early findings suggest that its heavy emphasis on whole plants, modest animal protein, and sustainability overlaps beautifully with what we already know benefits cognitive function. Plus, the environmental bonus makes it a no-brainer, pun intended. The funny thing is that all of this is starting to shift the way we think about aging. Instead of bracing ourselves for inevitable decline, we now get to imagine a future where the 70-year-old version of you is not only remembering your grandchildren's names, but also teaching them how to make lentil soup. It's an empowering and slightly rebellious narrative that you can outweed age-related memory loss not by fearfully popping pills, but by enthusiastically devouring blueberries. What's perhaps even more delightful is that plant-forward diets don't just preserve memory. They may also enhance mood, improve sleep, regulate blood sugar, and boost energy levels. So yes, you might become that annoyingly radiant senior who's still running 5 Burmese chots and remembering everyone's birthday. Just be sure to stay humble. Or not. You've earned it. And if the idea of long-term adherence to any diet seems intimidating, here's the reassuring twist. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Studies consistently show that even moderate improvements toward these patterns yield brain benefits. So if you're not quite ready to give up your weekend croissant, no worries. Just make sure it's followed by a spinach salad and a side of walnuts. Your neurons won't mind. In the end, the brain loves consistency, blood flow, antioxidants, and the absence of chronic inflammation, and plant-based diets deliver on all fronts. So, next time you're staring into the fridge wondering whether to snack on hummus or leftover fries, just remember, every little plant-forward choice is like a gentle pat on the brain. Keep making those good choices, and with a little luck and a lot of legumes, you may just stay sharp enough to win at trivia night well into your 90s.